Feel incredible!
It's not a cartoon, it's anime!
Yes! Welcome to another episode of Animeshun. The squad is back. I saw Ice's volume was still low.
Ice with the low volume on the Sundays, guys.
I felt like it was pretty loud.
No, you know what happened? Keep that shit down.
You know what happened? Just wait till it drops. It's gonna be a lot louder.
Well, we are
Cameron,
back.
check those levels.
Yeah. We are back with another episode of Animeshun. Whole squad is in the building. You know what we're doing this week. We know what we're doing this show. We talk anime shit. We talk our one-offs. We talk our debates. We do all that type of stuff, man. We out here in these streets. This week again is my pick. Jujutsu Kaisen. All right, episodes 5 through 8. Oh, yes, we getting it in, baby.
We are.
Let's just get straight into the shits, man. Rob.
Yeah, so episode 5 starts with Sukuna realizing he's got full control of Yuji's body, and he just rushes out of the detention center to confront Megumi, and it explains like, hey, it's only a matter of time before Yuji's able to switch back. So to keep control, he just rips his heart out. So if Yuji switches back, he's like, I'm holding this body hostage. If he comes back, he'll kill him, but I can survive without this. And on top of that, he has the finger from the curse that he took, and he just eats that thing, bringing the total up to 3. So Megumi knows he's outmatched, but believes, Yuji is a good guy. He'll regain control, even if it costs him his life. And he prepares to fight Sukuna, either to give Yuji time or convince Sukuna, like, he needs to regrow that heart to defeat him. So Megumi attacks, unleashing his shadow animals, gets a few blows in, but Sukuna's just, he's too strong for this dude. No heart necessary. He overpowers his curses and punches this dude across town, slams him through a building. It's not a good scene for Megumi. He mocks him afterwards too. Sukuna's just like, why are you even trying to save Yuji? And tells him he's wasting his talent. And Megumi, reflects on his past a bit. We see this woman who clearly meant something to him in his life that died of some kind of curse. And he explains that, life's only guarantee is that we all live in an unfair reality. And he wants to try to balance that out by saving the good people. And he knows that Yuji is one of them. And so as they get ready to fight again, Yuji regains control and thanks Megumi and says, live a good life, live a long life, and then he just collapses dead on the sidewalk. Our main character right there. Several days later, we see a robed man on the street named Gojo talking with several powerful special grade curses that are all powerful enough to like speak and have these coherent conversations. Jogo, this Cyclops curse with a volcano head, asks him like, hey, was it worth using one of the fingers we had to start this whole curse at the detention center? And Gojo says like, it was. We were testing Sukuna's powers and this whole thing gave us a bunch of valuable information. Also with them, there's 2 other curses. This squid-like looking thing named Dagon, who pretty much stays quiet the whole time, and this giant curse with like branches coming out of its eyes named Hanami that only speaks backwards. At Jujutsu High, Kiyotaka and Gojo are talking over Yuji's body at the morgue. Gojo believes that, what happened to Yuji was a setup by the school elders in an effort to derail his plans to use Yuji as a vessel to defeat Sukuna. And at that moment, the school doctor, Shoko, enters and comments, hey, Yuji's abilities made him special. And I'm hoping, she wants to dissect him and, learn more about him. And, Gojo's just like, get something out of this whole thing. So elsewhere in the school, Megumi and Nobara are talking about Yuji's death, kind of playing it tough, but clearly, they're both affected by the loss a little bit, even though they haven't known each other long. And they're approached by the school's second years. There's a girl named Maki who's awkward, but the most normal of the bunch. There's Toge, who speaks basically only in rice ball ingredients, and Panda, who's just a talking panda.
I love the panda.
I love the panda. Panda's great. He's not there, but there is a fourth second year named Okatsu, who Megumi mentions like, hey, he's also there. He's the one I respect the most, but he's probably off on some mission somewhere. Maki tells them that, they want the first years to compete with them in a yearly competition against the Kyoto school. Usually it's just the second and third years, but the third years have been suspended for some reason. And so it's a 2-day event with team and individual competitions, classic tournament style thing from anime. And of course, the two, they agree to join. In another part of the city, Geto and his crew of curses are at a restaurant talking about their ultimate plan, basically to replace humans with curses as this dominant life form on Earth, since they think humans are full of lies and they're very true beings. And Geto explains, if you guys want to win, we're going to need to do two things. We're going to need to trap Gojo to prevent him from fighting and win Sukuna and Yuji to our side. And Jogo's just like, this is impossible. Yuji's dead, but Geto is like, I don't think that's the case. And back at the morgue, we see that there is something still going on inside Yuji's body as he and Sukuna meet face to face alive in some kind of alternate dimension. The next episode, Yuji, enraged, tries to fight Sukuna for killing him, but even there, he's no match for this cursed spirit. Once Sukuna gets the upper hand, he explains, listen, you're not dead. We're both still alive here in my realm. And if you agree to a couple conditions, I'll bring you back to life. First, Yuji, you have to give me control of your body for 1 minute when he speaks this code word. And he promises, when Yuji's just like, I'm not going to do that. You're going to kill everybody in a minute. He's like, I'm not going to kill or hurt anybody in that time. And second, you have to forget we made this deal at all. Yuji is, suspicious for good reason. And even though, Sukuna's just like, listen, this is a magical deal bound by Jujutsu. I can't break this. But Yuji's just like, how about this? We fight. And if I win, you bring me back with no conditions. But if you win.
Worst deal ever.
If you win, I'll agree to your. And Sukuna's just like, yeah, okay, sounds good. And just slices his head clean in half. It's just like he gets his way.
That was so funny. That was so funny to me.
In the morgue, Gojo explains his McGillis style plan to Kiyotaka. He wants to reform the Jujutsu leadership using his students he's trained to help him get rid of the corruption. And Yuji was a big part of those plans. And basically on cue, Yuji just jumps back to life on the operation table. And even though, Gojo is relieved, he tells everybody there, let's keep this dude's survival a secret for now. I want to train him better so he can withstand these attempts that are going to be taken on his life. Back at the cafe with the curses, Geto tells them, we all have no chance of beating Gojo in a fight, even together. No chance. The only chance we have is to trap him with this special grade object called the prison realm. And Jogo, who finds out, we find out has the strength of 8 or 9 fingers, asks for the prison realm so he can do it. And he gets so excited about this thing is volcano head erupts and just everybody in the restaurant. One by one. Oh, just burst into flames. Crazy.
That scene was wild. Just the brutality of it all.
No fucks given.
It hyped me up for the fight. It really did.
Yeah.
It was just
okay. She almost was out of there. And then that last, come on, man.
I love the dude tough. Was like, I feel something wrong. Talk about reading the energies. He was like, hey.
He knew. That's me.
I feel something wrong.
Feel right.
I'm out of here.
Not only am I leaving, I quit. That's it.
He's the only one who survived.
Threw the apron on the ground. Good call.
I know you want to continue real quick, Rob, but also remember, I think it was this episode too. I forgot the other dude. He was just like, yo, remember, we got to trap Gojo.
Yeah.
We got to seal him.
Yeah.
Yeah, we cannot beat this dude.
We can't beat him.
Yeah.
Not even together.
That's one of them. That's the one of them LeBron, Jordan, Kobe type of things. Where it's like, if we get him to just score 30, we okay. We can't stop him. We can just contain him.
Contain that man.
I still didn't put it together. But go ahead, Rob.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Megumi visits the mother from the detention center, handing over her son's recovered name patch and apologizing for not being able to save him. And after he goes to train with the second years, where he asks Maki, what kind of people she wants to save as a Jujutsu sorcerer. He's all in his head about, what Yuji was doing, trying to save everybody. But she tells him, he and Nobara should be more worried about getting better at hand-to-hand combat because they're trash. And literally, we're watching Panda just toss Nobara around the field in the background. On the flip side, Yuji is happy to start his training with Gojo and has the exact opposite problem. He can fight, but he just can't use cursed energy almost at all. Gojo explains that, curse energy can be used to make curse techniques for more powerful attacks. And Yuji gets all excited, think he's about to learn one, like a Kamehameha wave or a spirit gun or something. But Gojo's just like, no, techniques are something you're born with. And he thinks that means he'll never learn one. But, Gojo knows better. He says, he thinks to himself, like, with time, he knows he'll be able to learn Sukuna's techniques, but he doesn't tell Yuji that right now. And although he can't, Yuji tells him, he was able to use curse energy in that last fight, and he just can't do it right now. Gojo's just like, hey, that's just because you tapped into some raw emotion at that moment, and you need to maintain how to, learn to maintain a flow of curse energy at all times. And he asks Yuji, he basically says your homework is going to be watching all these movies while holding one of the principles like cursed stuffed animals, and as long as Yuji keeps the curse energy flowing through it, regardless of his emotions, that curse will stay asleep. But if he stops the flow of curse energy for even a moment, that thing wakes up and just sucker punches him, which it gets him a few times. On the training field, Megumi wonders, how he can use cursed weapons basically to make him stronger as a close combat fighter, kind of like Maki does, and realizes, he doesn't want to be slowed down carrying all that around. But he figures out, kind of thinking back to his conversation with Sukuna, he has some untapped abilities and realizes he's going to be able to use his shadow realm, his shadow curses, where he stores his animals, also to store some weapons. So we should probably be seeing more of that from him later. As Gojo's leaving Yuji, he asks him, hey, did you make a deal with Sukuna to come back? And Yuji remembers they did talk, but again, because of the deal, he can't remember what it was about at all. So Gojo leaves to meet with the principal, but on the car ride, he senses, they're being followed, tells Kiyotaka, let me out. Pull over, keep going. And it doesn't take long for Jogo to just leap into an attack.
My bad, Rob.
No, you're good.
That I feel somebody here, and I don't see nobody troop that all animes do. Like, I will never get over that. Like,
I love that
will
shit.
always be dope shit to me. Like, it's always the coldest character, just like nobody in the fucking 100 miles, nobody can sense him in that one character. Like,
he's coming.
You guys leave. Something's going on. Like, that shit.
Yeah.
I can watch a million animes and I will still get hype at that moment.
Yeah. So Jogo moves quickly to try to incinerate Gojo, but his fire attacks seem to have absolutely no effect on the Jujutsu master, who he's intrigued by the curse, who seems, who's smart enough to communicate with clearly. And he tries to find out more about him, since he's an unknown special grade, and, says, hey, a fight might be kind of fun. But that just angers Jogo. And he sends out like a flurry of attacks, including like exploding lava bugs, trying to explode his head, sending a beam of cursed energy through his chest. And he thinks like Gojo's gotta be dead. But again, he just emerges from the smoke just totally unharmed. And he explains the reason for this. You can't even touch me. Like, and he demonstrates this aura of like infinity that surrounds him, causing any object that if it gets close to him, the closer it gets, the slower it moves. So you can't touch this man. And then it's his turn to attack, and using those infinity powers, he just rocks Jogo with a combo that sends him flying through the woods, basically through trees into a lake. And Jogo realizes Geto was right. He was not fucking around. They're no match for this dude.
He was like, he said, seal him. I should have fucking listened.
Yeah. Give me some potions. I gotta seal this dude.
Potions for sure. Absolutely.
You need potions. But when he sees Gojo again, he's not alone. In those few moments while he was thinking that, he returned to where he was keeping Yuji, where he was making pretty good progress on harnessing and controlling his cursed energy abilities, and returned with his student back to the battlefield just so he could teach him about domain expansion abilities while he's having that thought process.
How disrespectful was that?
Dog,
How disrespectful was that?
The most gangster move I've seen in a while in anime, dog.
True.
Left you there, like, I'll be right back. And then when they cut to the whole thing, he has like a whole moment with him. Like,
a conversation.
Then brings him back.
And he got a thought process too, like, oh shit, he really got all this cursed energy. He's moving quickly. Like, had a full conversation with himself before he even had a conversation with Itadori.
Well,
like,
for me, what I love that he was just like, this guy's about to do a domain expansion. He's probably that's his last trick in his books. That's what he has to do. He's powerful enough to do this. I'm going to show my student this because I don't get opportunities to do this. So let me go get him. Like, what? Like, let me go get my student, bring him out of his training to bring him into this training. And don't worry, like, this guy isn't powerful enough to affect our fight. Like, and then explain it to the bad guy. Like, hey, don't worry about him. He's not going to do nothing. Oh, you're going to use him as a shield? Like, oh, no. And then he's like, don't be scared. Just stay close to me. I'll kill this guy. It's fine. Like,
Yeah, it's all good.
All
Yeah,
in 10
it's-
seconds. If that.
Oh yeah, he moves fast. And Jogo's he's equally shocked to see this as he is to see Sukuna's vessel is alive, and he's just like, I can't let this guy know what our plan is. I gotta just try to keep my cards close to the vest here. So he does. Gojo called it. He expands his cursed realm, basically putting them somewhere inside like a volcano thing. And Gojo explains, these domain curses, they use a lot of energy, but they do have a lot of great benefits. They give you like stat boosts, environmental hazards for your enemies, and basically all your attacks are guaranteed to hit your opponent. He says, there are several different ways to deal with these things, but the best way is to try to overpower them with your own. And with that, he removes the blindfold, and just like we said, when he did that, it was going to be a big moment, and he just brings them into his domain of the infinite void. And in this new domain, Jogo is completely frozen, experiencing all sensations and no sensations all at once. And with his opponent just completely paralyzed, Gojo just pulls his head right off of his body. Because he still wants to ask this guy some questions, about who sent him. And Yuji, looking on, is shocked by this dude's powers, just as much, if not more so, than Jogo. So after Geto and Hanami are watching from a nearby cliffside, and though Geto doesn't want to be seen, Hanami is just like, I'm going to intervene, help keep their plan a secret. Using his plant curse abilities, he distracts the Jujutsu sorcerers, compelling them not to attack before making a giant tree root just grab Yuji and, hoist him into the air. So Gojo goes to save his student. Hanami, is able to jump in, grab Jogo's head, and just make a clean getaway. Yuji apologizes for getting in the way, but he's like, he's pleased actually with how well it went, and says, I want you to get so strong that you and the other students can face off against these kind of challenges on your own. And, that will involve some intense training over the next month before the inter-school competition. And Yuji's intimidated, but, as always, game for the challenge. So later, Geto and Hanami with Jogo's head reunite on some interdimensional beach somewhere, and meet with another mysterious curse that has a scarred face named Mahito, who seems to be in charge, as far as I can tell, or some high-ranking curse. And they make their plan to capture Gojo on October 31st, also known as Halloween. Was this one of the episodes that had one of those funny moments afterwards that you want to talk about?
Yeah, I'll talk about it afterwards.
I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So at Jujutsu High, Megumi and Nobara, they're picking up snacks and drinks for the upperclassmen, doing a little run. When they have an unfortunate run-in with a couple of students from Kyoto, the Kyoto school, who are visiting with their principal. Mai, a second year, and is Maki's twin, asked if they're glad that Yuji's dead, since his merging with Sukuna was an insult to all Jujutsu sorcerers. But Todo, a hulking third year, wants to know something else. What kind of women Megumi is into.
That's important.
They're both confused. And he's just like, but Todo rips off his shirt and, says, depending on your answer, I may beat you to death right here and now. And he goes on that men with boring tastes of women are boring themselves, and he can't stand boring men. Megumi tries to avoid confrontation, says he's more interested in, a woman's character rather than a nice ass like Todo says. But while Nobara may have been impressed with that answer, Todo is furious and launches into an attack, deciding Megumi is boring. Yeah.
He reminded me in that moment of the wind pillar. Well, not the wind pillar. Whatever the pillar.
The dude with
the crying eyes. Yeah. He's a monster.
He's a fucking dog. That was a dog.
Yeah, man. No, I got the same vibes with the tears. But while Todo puts a beat down on Megumi, Mai and Nobara clash when Nobara claims Maki is the prettier sister, causing Mai to literally pull a gun out on her. As they fight, Megumi and Vio explains Todo's reputation as a strong fighter, that basically Geto had attacked the school a year earlier with a bunch of first grades and special grades, and Todo killed them all himself. And Todo's like, yeah, that's true, I did that. And, I know people say that I didn't even need cursed energy to do it, but I just used the cursed energy against the special grade, which is just crazy. He's easily amongst the strongest Jujutsu students, and Megumi just tries to hang on and trap Todo with his curse animals, but he and his animals are just beaten to a fucking pulp.
Is that Kano level or what?
Yeah, he's
so
Vegeta,
cool.
bro. He's
so cool, but he takes so many L's.
He's Vegeta, dog.
Was that a Kato level ass whooping?
No.
Nah.
Because he got a couple moves in there. It's just
Kato got smoked, bro.
He did. Luckily, because he thought he was doing good too, and then just Oh man, Kato, yeah. Luckily, Panda and Toge arrive before things get out of hand, and Togi, finally not speaking in rice ball ingredients, uses his cursed speech to stop Toto from moving with just a single command. Toto agrees to stop the fight, but gives him a message for the missing second year Okatsu. He's just like, hey, I better see you at the competition. Back with the girls, Mai has shot up Nobara with cursed bullets or something because the only damage seems to be to her clothes. However, Maki steps in and there is clearly a sibling rivalry between these two. They jab at each other's egos, and we find out that Maki can't even use cursed energy, relying only on cursed objects to fight. But while they bicker, Nobara rises up and just like puts Mai in a chokehold, demanding like, you're going to replace these clothes. Like, take off your clothes because I'm wearing these out of here. Like, you shot me up. But Toto comes in, says, hey, we got to get out of here. He's got to get like an autograph from the celebrity crush that he wants to see while they're in town. Later, Nobara asks Maki if it's true, that she relies on cursed objects to fight, and she confirms that she does, but she wants to become a Jujutsu sorcerer anyway, basically just to shove it in her stuck-up family's face. And with that, Nobara, says, hey, she clearly starts to look up to her. She respects her. Elsewhere at the school, the Kyoto principal, Yoshinobu, wants to meet with the Tokyo principal. And he's there with another one of his second years, a blue-haired girl named Kasumi. But to their surprise, it's Gojo who arrives. And he sits down and he confronts the old man, telling him, you might have gotten Yuji killed. And as a member of the elders, who sent his first years to face a special grade, like, that's on you. And basically, Kasumi scolds him for being disrespectful to the old man. But in truth, is totally starstruck by Gojo. But it's a tense meeting, and Gojo tells him, they have powerful enemies on the way, and that they'll need more powerful students. And Yoshinobu can, he'll get hurt if he stands in their way. But the old man isn't backing down either, and tells Gojo he's out of line. So not wanting to cause too much trouble, Gojo leaves. Happily tells him they'll have to wait for 2 hours for the principal since he messed with the schedule, and heads out on his way. So from there, we jump 1 month into the future, and we hear a report of a curse that just brutally murdered these 3 high school boys at a theater as they watched a movie. And we see as he leaves, it's none other than Mahito. And he's being followed by some mysterious person who calls out to him, that can see him. He's just like, oh, you can see me? And he's just like, yeah, I wanted to know if you were responsible for what just happened in there. And meanwhile, out front of the theater, Yuji arrives on the scene with Kento, a professional Jujutsu sorcerer, and they're there to investigate the murders. And that's where we will pick up next time.
All right, man.
Rob is so good at this.
Yeah.
Shout out to Andrea who helped me get this down a little bit this week. She was helping me with the synopsis this week.
Oh, she watching with you?
She's now watching with me. If anything, she doesn't watch, and then I go, read this. Does this make any sense? And she's just like, get rid of this. You don't need to talk about that. What the hell is going on here? So she helped me out big time.
That's all love.
All right, shout out to Rob. Rob's recaps. We calling it, I guess. Rob's recaps, great as always.
Thank you.
All right, man, let's jump to the question portion of the show. First question. Like McGillis and Iron-Blooded Orphans, Gojo wants to overthrow the old corrupt system. You know how these motherfuckers, every time it's these old people in power, man, it's corrupted. So he wants to implement his own ideals and stuff like that. Do you think he stands a better chance than McGillis did? Rob. I said Robert. Robert,
like, am I in trouble? Goddamn. Yeah, no, I think he does. He doesn't seem to be so like locked into things, like, especially because like, he obviously had a wrench thrown in his plans when Yuji got taken off the board for that little bit. And even so, he was still just like, I'll figure something else out. I think it's less a condemnation of his plan to be compared to McGillis, other than it really shows you how bad McGillis's plan was. But at the end of the day, like, I think these guys are very similar, but I think Gojo, at least early on, seems to have a much better control of the situation and seems to be, backing up, and he's bringing more people in on it. McGillis, meanwhile, was keeping everything to himself, but Gojo is trying to bring people in. I mean, also Gojo, who gonna stop him? Who the fuck? If he wanted to today, he could have been like, yo, man, I'm stepping in. No, you're not. Yes, the fuck I am. All y'all dead. Right. This is what I like about Gojo over McGillis, too. He has the power and the smarts, from what it seems anyways.
So that's what makes him even more dangerous. Also, Brennan, I know you probably.
That's all I was gonna say, motherfucker. You knew I was gonna say it too. You're like, I'm gonna say it first because I'm the host.
No. I wasn't. No, I was doing. That's what I had lined up. That's all.
That's all right.
And season one, McGillis was serving people. Like, he wrecked Galeo the first couple times they met up.
Yeah. Ice.
But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even if I never saw one episode of Jujutsu Kaisen, I would have still picked Gojo just for the simple fact fucking McGillis shit was garbage. Like Rob said, it was Park Mugen level of a letdown pump fake.
Yeah.
Ain't no Park Mugens in here, man.
No, ain't none. Not a single one. They prove it out the gate. But yeah, his chances are much better. Much better.
All right, next question. Do you feel the reaction? Brennan
No, I already gave my answer.
Oh, that was it. Oh, he just took it for real. Damn.
Oh yeah, that was all I was gonna say.
Next question. Do you feel the reactions to Yugi's deaths were appropriate, Brennan?
No, the reactions weren't appropriate. I mean, in the sense of like his two.
Why not?
First of all, his two comrades. I'm saying like that his two comrades. Their approach to it was very much so cool. But like people like getting on them about it and like giving them shit about it. I'm like, yo, but my man just died. Like the others, I know they were being dicks or something like that. But for me, it's like you don't normally see that kind of shit happening, regardless of where it is. Like, oh, you being a little bitch about your people dying. Like I just couldn't. I was like, yo, like this feels so inauthentic, and I feel like it would have been time for the hands for that at that moment right then. Like y'all talking about this is what I'm supposed to be. This is how you know what I'm saying. Like the older people, even the chick didn't realize that she was giving them shit. But then the other two, the ones that like the guy who's like, what kind of women do you like and all that kind of shit. Them giving them shit about it. I'm like, why? Why would you give shit about like your people dying? I don't understand. I personally couldn't understand that. And tell me I'm crazy. Somebody tell me I'm crazy.
Well, this is why I tell you crazy. They just reminded me of Rico from Paid in Full. Niggas die every day, B. That's all that was.
It continues to eat a bag of chips.
But not the day. But it's like the day of, bro. Like it's like the next morning. They're like, we're sad. It's like, what are you sad about, little bitches? Like, fuck. Like, jeez. Well, also, I thought it was kind of unreasonable that what's his name, Gojo, was so upset by his death because he just met the kid a couple days prior. It's like, okay, he might have had a lot of potential. You know, but it's just like he was so upset by it. I'm like, this is the strongest Jujutsu warrior in history, apparently. And like, can do anything he wants. And he's just like, one kid he just met dies like immediately. And I'm like, I get that he's sad, but he's like in the funeral place, like, not in the funeral place, in the thing with his body, just hanging out with his dead body. I was just like, is this, corners. I don't know. It just seemed the corners. Thank you. In the corner spot. But I don't know. I thought it was a little bit weird, but not completely unreasonable. But I just felt like it was just a little bit extra. And I was like, I'm going to bring this up.
Ice.
I just think it comes with the territory. I think if you around death, I think especially what they're doing is death involved. They see dead people every day. Like that's just a part of their job. And if they even know like, and up until Itadori came, the mindset was fuck your teammates. Like fuck everybody. If they die, they die. Like they was on some Rocky shit. If he dies, he dies. Like that's what type of energy that they had. So I don't think that's too far out the norm. And on top of that, everybody knew like he was a vessel for their worst enemy. So I think that played a larger role into it. It was just like, hey, fuck him. Because we wanted him dead anyway. So this is just, just getting us him dead sooner. So I think that's a lot. Those were the two main things into it. So I didn't really see it as something that was super far off.
Yeah, they actually kind of mentioned that a few times about like he was who he was. And just like, what kind of fuck him anyways? Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's definitely what Maya was saying, was just like, he was basically an insult to us. Like for this person, the only reason this dude has any of the potential that we do is because he ate this cursed object. Like you were kind of saying, Keenan, like he's the vessel for their worst enemy. And so that's clearly why some of the older people want to get rid of him. So I can understand at least, do I agree with that sentiment? No, but I can see why there's people within the school that feel that sort of way. And for Gojo, at least, I definitely see what you're saying, Brennan. Like maybe he was a little bit too attached to him, but I think it was less about like Yuji as a person and more just like, damn, like this was our chance. Because he says at one point, I think in the first stretch of episodes, we might not see another kid like this again, ever, that can eat these fingertips and, you know, be able to take it. It may have even been like thousands of years since the last one. So I think on a level, he's just like, fuck, like I thought this was going to be my ticket. Like I thought this was going to be a way to take a big piece of evil off the board. So that's where I think he's coming from. But I think you're right. Like a lot of these people, they talk about it. Like you got to have a strong stomach to be a Jujutsu sorcerer. You're going to be seeing a lot of dead people, both just civilians and just like your teammates every day.
Well, also too, I want to say this for Gojo. I think he also knew that he might not have been dead. At least when I was watching, he had that energy where it's like he may or may not die from this. But also, that's his. If he's the teacher, he's like, bro, I lost a student. That's like that's my responsibility. Like that falls on me. That shows that's a reflection of me being a bad teacher. So him being there also, I mean, all that to me made sense. But I get what you're saying, though, Brennan. But it makes sense.
No, I think it's both. I thought it was a good conversation topic.
Yeah, for sure.
Next question. So I know we've seen a lot of anime with like funny training montages. Like for instance, this one had him pretty much having to sit there and watch movies. This is why Gojo is one of my favorite characters too. He spoiled one of the movies for him. It was hilarious to me. I was like, that's me. That is me. And so you had these montages where it's like, you're right, this is so silly, but you know it's going to make them stronger or more powerful, whatever the case may be. So from any anime, it could be from the same anime that somebody else brings up, but it just can't be the same exact moment. What is a funny, ridiculous kind of training method that was your favorite? Mine was, I mean, I'll go back to just Dragon Ball Z when, King Kai pretty much had them doing jokes. Like, you can tune the piano, but you can't tune a fish. Like, that shit was just so dumb. But I remember watching that as a kid when it first came out. And I remember enjoying the hell out of it because this is so stupid. And they had to come up with jokes. And then, especially with Piccolo, like Piccolo, that's not what he does. And that's not who he is. And he had to come up with something. I thought it was great.
That was funny.
Ice. I'll give you some time, Ross. You thinking over there. I'll give you some time.
Yeah, man. Fuck, you took my...
I know Ice and Brendan.
I'm ready.
I know Ice and Brennan have a buttload of them. So
yeah, I think the funniest training montage for me is in Naruto. It's when he had. Well, I don't want to. I'd pick something different because I don't want to ruin it.
Yeah, don't give no shit away. I'm still attempting to watch this shitty show.
Well, I just shitty. All right, bro.
I told you I've seen the first 20-something episodes and I had to stop. But I'm gonna get back to it. But
you're wild because.
I don't think it's shitty so far.
All your shows, I'll be very brief. All the shows that you love are sons of Naruto. So
really, Dragon Ball Z is the son of Naruto?
No,
Naruto's actually a son of Dragon Ball Z. But anyways, I like Naruto so far. I don't have issues.
No, kind of in pieces, but not really. MHA and Black Clover, two shows that you fucking go hard for, are big time sons of Naruto, but whatever. But the training montage with the bells, I think that was pretty funny. Yeah, that's it.
Brendan, you got one? I see Rob over there.
Dude, I'm fucking blank. I'm blank, man.
I mean, you can make the same show, Rob, because there's other montages that King Kai did also. I'm just talking about that one little piece.
That's true.
Just a joke. You can go from that. So go ahead, Rob. Go ahead, Brendan.
Easy. Fucking One Punch Man. Like, the most powerful being in the universe. So like, how did you get here? He was like, 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 10-kilometer run, and 100 squats every day. Like, that's it? That's what it took?
Brady, you know what's great about that? People have done...
Yeah, there's people all over the internet have done that exercise. And
I love that. I love people who actually done the exercise. And they show you that they look a little ripped, though.
Yeah, they get ripped. Yeah. They get ripped. But yeah, I thought that was one of the funniest things in the world when he finally, because they made it a big deal. They built it up so well in that show. Like, it's like, okay, I just need to know, Master, how did you do this? I'll tell you one day. I'll let you know one day. Then he's like, fine, I'll tell you. And then he said that, and he's just like, everybody's like, what? And he's like, seriously, it's very difficult.
And that shows you too that he was pretty much saying that everybody can train to be a superhero, and y'all doing a bunch of extra shit that don't really mean nothing.
Yeah, true.
Because I'm stronger
than
y'all.
So funny.
You ready, Rob?
I mean, I'll go with. to switch it up, I'm gonna go with you took my first answer, but I'm gonna go with Midoriya on MHA having to clean up the beach like that. I mean, the fact that he had to like do a whole like training regimen and just like go clean up the beach like for his training to get stronger, become the most powerful like superhero of all time. Like that's just like I guess it taught him some of the like the smaller things as far as like you gotta. Being a superhero isn't just about like punching people. You gotta do some other common goods. But like, man, that'd be a real bummer having to just you gotta go clean up this whole dirty beach. Like beaches get dirty.
Yeah, I mean that shows discipline. That shows you that's community service pretty much. That's real community service. Like if all my probably went down there, served the homeless a few times and stuff like that. Some of these kids don't probably even understand that shit. Yeah. I respect that. All right. All right, next question. Yeah, he would hate that shit. Have you ever had an out-of-body moment where you didn't feel like you were in control? Ice?
Yeah, when I was younger, like 9, 10, I had like a spat where I just struggled with sleep paralysis. And that shit, it got like, usually I would be in my body and my, sleep paralysis. Like I could see, I'd be watching TV, but the rest of my body couldn't move. But one particular time, I don't know what the fuck happened, but like I was watching myself sleep and I was like, what the fuck? Like, and I'm a kid, so no drugs were involved. And I'm like I'm literally watching myself sleep. And then I open my eyes and I'm like fucking staring at myself, like sleep. And that shit, I've still over almost 20 years removed from that situation. And I still can like vividly see that. And really after, I don't know if I scared myself out of sleep paralysis, but after that moment, I never had sleep paralysis again. So I don't know if that was my final fucking test or what, but yeah, that was mine.
That's some other dimension type shit.
That's crazy.
Your spiritual playing and seeing it. Brendan?
Honestly, it's the same. Like sleep paralysis is terrifying, bro.
Yeah.
Like it used to happen to me a lot when I was a kid, and it's just terrifying. Like because you wake up, but it feels like your brain wakes up, but your body doesn't. Mm-hmm. And so like I just remember like the feeling of being like tickled on the highest level is what all your body feels like. So it's like every time you try to move, your body just like, it just tickles so much that you can't move. Like, I feel like I've never seen what it looks like when I'm in sleep paralysis, but it feels like to me, you're just laying there and you're just jiggling as you're trying to move. That's what it feels like, but you can't break out of it. You can't do it. The only way I found that you can get out of sleep paralysis for advice for you guys in the future, if you wake up and you can't move, go back to sleep. That's the only answer out of it. Like, cause I fought as hard as I can and I feel like I have a pretty strong mental fortitude. And I went as hard as I could. And it's just like, nah, the only way I found to get out of it is just to go back to sleep. You have to calm yourself down and go back to sleep. That's the only way to get out of it. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
Rob?
Yeah, I've definitely had that too, actually more recently than when I was younger. But just to kind of go in a different direction with it, I just like anytime you're like doing an activity, whether it's like a sport or a game, or even sometimes when you're just doing work, like you guys have you seen Soul yet?
Yes.
I haven't. No.
But they talk about like when you get in the zone, and it's just like in that moment, and you're just like, I've had those moments where like even sometimes when I'm just like doing like an activity or something, and I'm like in the moment, and I'm just doing it, and I can feel my body doing it, and I'm having the thought in my head, I'm just like, I'm really doing this right now, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Yeah, and I'm not even. It's just like the body's just like on autopilot. Like sometimes it's with video games. Sometimes it's like, it's even just as far as like typing up notes or like writing something. And you're just like, it's just coming out. You know what I mean? And so that idea of just like, I'm like watching myself do this right now. And it's pretty cool when you have that.
Yeah. I would say, I was going to say sleep paralysis also, but I guess I'll follow on Rob's theme since they already did it themselves. It's with stand up. There have been times when you're just like, you're on stage, and I remember this comedian named Chris Dunham. He told me this. He was just like, man, you're in the fucking zone when this happens. And I remember I was like year 3 or 4, or maybe 3 or 4. And I was like, man, I've had great sets at that point, but I didn't have what he was talking about. And I remember watching. I was like, this motherfucker's in the zone right now. And then I think a few years later, that happened to me. And it was like, you're like literally watching yourself like, yo, I'm destroying while you're just doing it. And it's like, it kind of feels like, I guess it feels like what Ultra Instinct would kind of be in your field, where it's just like, you're just reacting to whatever. It's like, I'm reacting to shit in the crowd. everything. It was like the perfect set that can just come together with stuff from the crowd going back into my joke. They said things that made my joke work even better. It was just perfect. So now I guess I had a sleep paralysis moment too. I remember I was listening to meditation music and fuck. Bro. And I didn't know I clicked on
got
one.
him, y'all. The hippies
Bro,
got him.
I was listening to meditation music and I didn't know it was one of those
hippies got
ones
him.
that was one of the ones that talked. You know, they'd be like, "Yo, do this." And like a weird voice popped. I was sleeping. I woke up and a weird voice popped up, and only my eyes open, and I can only look at my phone like this. And I was like trying to cut it off. I was like, "Shit, I can't cut it off!" And it was just like, yeah. It was making this weird voice, and I was just like, I'm being possessed by a demon or something.
That's crazy.
And it was sleep paralysis. All right, next question. Do you think Maki is he brave or foolish for trying to become a jujutsu sorcerer?
Isn't it she?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
She, without being able to use without being able to use curse energy. Would you do the same, Rob?
I think I get the pettiness. Like, especially if she's like the only one in her family that's like everybody in her family uses curse energy. They're all in jujutsu. That's what it sounds like from her. She's looked down on by her sister. I kind of get from context clues that maybe it's her whole family that looks down on her. But all that being said, I think that's dumb as hell. I think that is like somebody could smash. She's like, the only way I can even see curses is by having these glasses on. And like, maybe there will be a time where, she proves that she's got more than that or something like that. But the fact that the only way you can see your enemy is from some glasses, like, she's going to get killed out there. Like, at this point, I'm just like, she is my top pick for who is going to die this season. I think, like, it's just like, that is just so foolish to me. Like, I get the pettiness, but I would absolutely not do that. I'd be like, all right, like, I'm going to get out of the family business. I'm going to figure something else out because this life isn't for me.
Yeah, y'all two have glasses, so I want to definitely hear y'all answers, Brennan.
No, I completely agree with Rob. That's the stupidest shit I've ever heard. It's like, everybody has superpowers, but I want to prove that I'm still special. Like, yeah, do that. Go make some money. Like, make some friends. Become a politician. I don't fucking know. Be a doctor. Do not go and fight superpower beings with no superpowers. And just like the One Punch Man workout ain't gonna get you there. Like, I'm sorry, it's not gonna do it. And
You sure?
I'm 100% positive. 100% positive is that there's something to be said about innate talent versus hard work. And the thing is, like, hard work matters, but if Vegeta still couldn't muster the energy to be able to learn how to fly and shoot beams from his hands, it doesn't matter how hard he works. You know what I'm saying? Well, he's going to probably end up in the same place, still taking all the L's, but he'd be dead a lot sooner. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't take a hit from Frieza because you worked harder than Vegeta. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not going to help. So I agree with Rob. I think that's very stupid.
I think it's stupid for this main reason right here. Once your glasses get knocked off, it's a fucking wrap.
Yeah.
Like, what do you like? Do you don't even have the Horace Grants? Like, you don't even have the strap
the Kareem
to hold
boys.
your shit on. Like, it gets knocked off. It's like on your chest. Like, oh shit, put these back on real quick.
Yeah.
Somebody just slapped the shit out you. You done for.
Done.
If I'm one of these spirits or whatever, I'm not even. That's what I'm doing for. I'm just like, let me just take these off you. Then I'm gonna fuck with you for the next 5 minutes. I'm gonna just like, just take you out slow.
She needs to get fucking either curse contacts or curse LASIK or some shit.
Contacts.
Why doesn't she have contacts?
Cursed contacts.
If I'm her, I'm getting a job. I would be the person that
I would
makes
have
those
contacts
weapons.
and glasses on. Like,
Exactly.
Like, is it facade? Like, oh damn, and act like I can't see him after you take my glasses off, and I can still see you, bitch. Like,
if I'm her, my job would be I will make those weapons though. I would probably make those weapons, but I wouldn't be out there trying to be that type of person out there. But I'd be like, just in case y'all need some weapons for extra boost, I made some shit for you that's dope.
like Deku's girlfriend.
Yeah, support squad. Support squad.
Just like, it's exactly what I was thinking.
Ice?
Yeah, I think because we say all of these things, but everybody loves Batman. Like, everybody loves Iron Man, and they're both of those guys like are basically that. They're in a world full of people whose powers is way better than theirs, but they hanging in there. And the fact that Bruce Wayne, Batman, has a way to beat every single one of everybody in the Justice League, like, and he goes and proves it. That, I mean, and the same thing with Iron Man. Like, Iron Man has a failsafe for everybody in the Avengers, and he shows it too. So I think it's doable. I think it's doable.
Yeah,
and
if
I
you're
would
a
do
fucking
it.
mega billionaire genius.
Yeah,
I mean, there's no constraints to it. It's just an open question. It's not.
But I'm just saying. But you gave two examples of two people that are both mega genius billionaires.
That's still people.
That's their
that fall
superpower.
under the umbrella of the conversation.
They've done it.
Yeah. You just said people with no powers. And that's what it is.
I'm
They
just
don't
curious
have
if she's a
powers.
genius or not. We'll find out.
We'll find out.
But I think more specifically for Maki herself, I think it's stupid for her just because, like we said, there is a very quick, more efficient way to do what you're doing, and you're not even doing that. Two, you're just not giving yourself a chance. This is not a power thing; it's a sight. Like you have to see in order to fight. You ain't on some fucking Matt Murdock shit where you can fucking just sense everybody. Like
Daredevil.
no,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
so
we.
then-
Sorry,
If
go
that
ahead.
if that was me, I would still try. I would just do it better than she did it.
I should be dead. Next question.
I'll be out here.
While we're out there Jujutsu masters with our shit together, I should be sitting there. Save me, guys!
Potions.
I'm out here. I'm getting LASIK.
All right, next question, man. Has there been an anime that you've seen that has this much killing, but also has this much humor also? Like actual killing. Because, Dragon Ball Z has the humor. Some of these shows have the humor, but they don't necessarily kill their enemies. They'll just beat them up or whatever. I don't know if you guys have been watching, and Brennan watched a clip earlier today, before we got on, but this show right here, bro, has been so funny to me. And maybe One Punch Man is up there, but this show right here, at the end of every episode, there's like a comedy clip. That at the end of the episode with what's his name, Dogo, the firehead dude, what's his name?
Oh, Jogo. After he gets smoked, if you go to the end of the episode, the two other villains are on the beach playing soccer with his head, bro. It's fucking hilarious.
No, it's not just soccer. It's like they zoom in on every kick on his face where he's like, getting
He's
lit.
like, come on, I'm gonna get revenge on you motherfuckers.
They light him up.
Bro, from what I've seen, at least these last four, that's why I've been paying attention to the most. And then even on the episode of, when, damn, you're right, Rob, these names are killing me. Jogo, I think it's Jogo, the dude that Ice has in his background. The girl, she's all obsessed with him. And at the end of the episode, when she runs up to him, she's like, Sky, got a picture real quick, please. And he gets the selfies, they're like, taking the selfies and stuff like that. And then, she runs back to the thing. She's sitting there, and the old dude's like, yo, I thought I told you to get my tea, man. Like, where's my... oh, shit. But like every episode, even though it might end like messed up,
Yeah.
it goes to like a funny clip for whatever reason why they're doing this. And it's been executed. I think Brendan said on Black Clover, they tried, but it just doesn't work.
Not funny.
But to me, this has been executed very well. I've laughed pretty hard. As some of y'all know, I don't watch a lot of anime that makes me laugh a lot. So this has been doing it. Rob?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it, but my go-to was One Punch Man. I mean, one of my favorite moments in anime is when he's fighting that big beetle dude, and all he wants to do is get to that sale at the grocery store, and he's getting fucking rocked. And he's like, you think he's having this like revelatory moment of just like, oh my God, like this guy is so much stronger than me. But really he's just like, shit, the sale was yesterday. And then like turns that dude into bug juice. Like immediately. That shit is absolute comedy. Like One Punch Man is so funny. And he blasts everybody.
I would say these two are definitely up there. If somebody says One Punch Man is funnier, I won't argue with you on that. Yeah, Brennan?
I mean, I agree, One Punch Man. And one thing Rob didn't mention is like how many people die in One Punch Man. Like when those monsters, when monsters are attacking those cities, there's tens of thousands of people are dying immediately. And it's just like, they don't even mention it. They're just like, like another God level attack. And then One Punch Man just like Moomy Rider rides his bike over. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love that show. It's so good. It's the funniest anime I've ever watched.
I haven't watched season 2 yet, so I want to see how season 2 is.
It's just a continuation of season 1. It's fantastic.
Goro's a beast. I think the brutality part I haven't seen. The closest would be Naruto, because Naruto has very funny moments, but it still gets pretty brutal when people die. But just overall funny, I still think Mob Psycho is the funniest anime I've ever watched, because just fucking Reagan is. And Mob, his lack of personality is fucking hilarious. I don't think too many people die in that one.
The spirits are pretty much getting killed, I feel like. Not necessarily...
dead, brutal deaths. I think there's other animes that are not necessarily funny, but we made it funny. Like, I think Goblin Slayer was fucking hilarious because we made it hilarious, but it was still pretty brutal.
Yeah. All right, next question. This is a good question right here. So go ahead and pat yourself on the back, bitch. Do you think these characters power levels?
It's like it must be a brilliant question coming. God, wow. Can't give a compliment for nothing.
We can. You know how we are.
Pat yourself on the back, bitch.
Do you think these characters' powers levels could survive in Dragon Ball Z universe? If so, during what saga time period? Mostly looking at Satoru and Jogo. Jogo here, Brennan.
Well, we don't know the full extent of Satoru. It's Satoru, right? Satoru's powers.
Satoru.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know the full extent of his powers yet, but they're pretty impressive by any stretch of the imagination. These guys are getting knocked through trees and through buildings and shit the same way that Dragon Ball Z characters are. We have the ability to blast from hands as well as it looks like pretty much be able to fly. So for me, it's like, all right, we're on some Dragon Ball Z level here with powers. So I'm going to say that I think that Jogo, because it's hard to say what Satoru's limit is at this moment, I'd say that he probably could stick around during the Saiyan saga. You know what I'm saying? Like what Goku was doing, what's it called? Kaioken. Yeah, the beginning, right before they get to Kaioken. Right before they get to Kaioken, I think that this guy all right, cool, let's fight. And then he's like, oh, damn, I'm Yamcha level. But I think he still could survive some of the hits. Because most anime, most characters, there's nothing. You're not going to be able to, you will get turned to dust if Goku looks at you the wrong way. But these guys are pretty powerful when it comes to just anime in general. I think they're doing it. And so I'm saying, I think that he, at some point, that's where I would put him. Maybe before that, it might be the Radix saga, somewhere between Radix and Saiyan saga. I think the Radix saga is the beginning of the Saiyan saga.
Who is this? Who is it you talking
Jogo,
about?
the fire dude.
No, who is Radix? Who?
Radix is Goku's brother.
You just saying Radix. I didn't know who the fuck that is.
Yeah, you're saying with the C. No,
You ready?
Yeah. I get Ice trying to.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, Ice.
I don't know. I think this is kind of apples to oranges, really. I think this is comparing fucking Karl Malone to fucking Michael Jordan. I think it's just it's so different and they're so far off. And then I think if we really had to do it, I think Gojo's the only person that can hang just because of his infinity, but everybody else is getting washed. But then when you bring in other dimensions, that's my biggest thing of why they're so different is because when they bring in the domains and all of that stuff, that might change it. But I just think they're not even in the same class with DBZ just washing that whole universe. Because I think I'm only going off of who they're facing. And anytime there's curses and demons and stuff like that, I always just automatically put them at a lower level because just the scale. And we've only watched 8 episodes. So
I was going to say 8 episodes versus 3 entire genres of shows.
That's what I'm saying. It's kind of hard to make that comparison. But yeah, I don't think it's close. I think Gojo's the only person, and I don't even see him getting through the Raditz saga.
Damn.
Rob?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm more with Brennan on this, where I feel Gojo, Satoru Gojo, I feel it's hard to say because I could see him being able to even his ability, you can't touch this dude unless you put him somewhere and that's something that Dragon Ball Z guys are gonna have a problem with. Even Jogo's energy blast or whatever can't do anything to this dude. So I feel like he could probably hang for a good amount of at least Dragon Ball Z. I feel Jogo, the lava head dude, I feel he's a Dodoria equivalent, he'd be a badass and Frieza's army, and then Vegeta would show up and just probably destroy him, even though he thinks he's hot shit. That felt that kind of level. No, but
does it in his sleep.
But I mean, I think the students, with maybe the exception of Toto, I feel Toto could maybe get through. He'd be one of the dudes that Nappa probably beats the shit out of. You know what I mean? But I'm interested to see how some more of these professional and teacher level jujutsu sorcerers, how they come out the gate and see how they perform out in the field. And I think we're about to start seeing that in some of these next episodes.
Yeah, I mean, whew, I'm more on the lines with what Rob was saying. I think a few of these characters, depending on what their power is, I mean, with their using their powers, can hang definitely at least through the Raditz series. And then I think when it gets to Gojo, yeah, I think he makes it to where they gotta probably get to the Cell Saga. That's where he might struggle at. But he's Raditz, bro. Come on, bro. That series or the Frieza, bro. Like also, this dude is willing. He's willing to kill. None of these guys are besides Vegeta. Goku's gonna lose because he's gonna say, "Hey man, let's probably be friends." And this dude's like, "I gotta get rid of this nigga," and he gonna kill him. Like
rip his head off.
And them being and them using even with the girl with the hammer, like her making the little voodoo doll. Like if she makes one of those voodoo dolls of any of them, like and puts something right through their heart, they're dead. Like I think we gotta. I'm looking at what they can do as not necessarily as they're super like powering up. No, like she's not gonna be able to do that. If she's able to hide, make a voodoo doll real quick, a Goku, stab him right in the heart again.
We do know his heart is a weak
him
spot.
again.
Yeah, I said we heart Goku's heart will fuck him up.
Yeah, we know that's his weakness, man. So
fucking virus.
I think it just depends on what's being used, and I think definitely Gojo's he's mopping some of these guys. I think he's mopping Dragon Ball Z up until at least that Cell Saga. He's tossing the motherfuckers
because Cell can absorb stuff. I'm
not saying Cell himself. I'm talking about the Z Warrior. That's what I was talking about. But yeah, and I think this dude's and for him he's more intelligent than besides maybe Vegeta as a fighter. He's more intelligent than all the other fighters. Maybe not Gohan either, but like. Or at least older Gohan, but Goku's just such a bird brain. He's just going to try to overpower him for the most part, and it's just not going to. It's not going to work. Last question. What is the best 3-man team ever? Anime doesn't have to be an anime. Ice.
Tough one.
Part of me wish this was 4 people. So I can say us because we're the greatest fucking anime podcast.
I got it
in
today.
the
I was there.
entire world.
Your headphones are happening. Did you know, Brennan?
No, I don't care. I got it. I was like, as soon as he said 4, I knew exactly what was coming.
Yo, Brennan's headphones, I feel like they were like already kind of halfway off, but he was just like, oh. Nope, didn't get me.
Not today.
In the entire world. But no.
But it's not 4. It is 3.
It's not 4. It's 3. And honestly, just off of sheer talent, but also their accolades, I feel like the Fujis is like one of the greatest 3-man teams ever. Well, 3-people teams, I guess, because, Lauryn Hill. But, I mean, the Score, fucking amazing album. Still, to this day, one of the greatest rap albums ever. And then for them, Wyclef Jean Prost and Lauryn Hill, the individual talents, for them to be very successful, all the records that Lauryn Hill broke. Like, all of those guys were just super by themselves, and they just got together. And, I mean, initially they were together and then broke up and still were dope as fuck. I think what they did, a lot of just groups in general, a lot of musicians in general, they try to duplicate. And they either have the talent, but they don't have the success and wins, or they have the success, but they nearly don't have the talent of those 3 guys and what they were able to do.
Yeah. That's a good one. I'll have to go with just that Warriors team: KD, Clay, and Steph. That big 3. Like when they were healthy, like you just knew there wasn't no stopping them. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Like Clay goes, you know what, man? I got to play defense tonight, bro. I got to lock this guy up. So I'm just gonna score 10. KD, do what you do, score 50, 40, 30, whatever you want to do tonight. Steph, do what you want to do tonight too. It's like any given night, KD never gets locked up like that. But if that was the case, anybody can take over and score 50. That's the crazy part about those 3. Any of them can score 50 or 60. So
true.
Yeah. Even though people hated that big 3, I enjoyed watching it, even though they were just smashing on cats. But I enjoyed the hell out of it. Brennan?
That was actually gonna be my pick too, because it's like you either have to say Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan, and Dennis Rodman, or those 3. Yeah. I'll go with the Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, because Michael Jordan's going to drop 40, 50 on you regardless. Scottie Pippen can lock down your best player on and still drop. and still drop 30 on you.
Yep.
And Dennis Rodman is going to take every single rebound off those boards and lock down another player. And let's not forget, Defensive Player of the Year, Michael Jordan. So the thing is that all three of them are going to lock down the three best players you have on your team, and two of them are going to outscore the rest of your team. And so I'm just like, I don't see, like, if you put KD in the Splash Brothers against those three, I think that Michael Jordan locks down Steph Curry. I think that Klay Thompson gets locked down by Scottie Pippen. And I think that, who locks down KD?
No. Here's the thing about Dennis Rodman. Here's the thing about Dennis Rodman, though. Mentally, this is where he might get KD. He's not going to be physically able to stop this dude. But mentally, you see what he used to do with Karl Malone?
He's going to get his head. No, he's going to get his head. I fully agree.
Elbow you, kick you in the nuts, do little stuff here and there, and then KD going to lose his cool, get too tech, get kicked out. But defensively, no, he just can't. But mentally, that's where Dennis is real strong at.
I think it's if they get them, if it's on like a sudden death game, I feel like that Bulls team will win. But over a 7-game series, I feel like the Warriors will figure some shit out and just outshoot their asses. Because when it comes to shooting, none of those three guys can shoot better than any of them three guys.
Not even
it's not even close. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Rob?
I'm gonna go a completely different direction. Actually, I'm to pay tribute to the show. We when Yuji's watching the movies, we get a short snippet from Lord of the Rings with Sam and Frodo crying. That made me laugh so hard. But I'm obviously not picking Frodo and Sam. I'm going Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli. Those three dudes killed so many orcs. Like, there are people during the Battle of Helm's Deep getting absolutely destroyed, and Legolas is just like 41. 42, 43, just like killing dudes, jumping up on elephants and taking them down single-handedly. Those dudes racked up so many bodies through those three movies. Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli is a three-man dream team. Absolutely.
That makes me want to watch it again.
That's good shit.
All right, so that's the end of the question portion of the show. I did have one more fun question, but we're an hour in. I don't know if you guys wanted to answer it. It's a quick question. You can answer one word, yes or no.
All right.
In a head-up fade, who's winning? The panda from this show or Kung Fu Panda? Nice.
Kung Fu Panda.
You got Kung Fu Panda?
Kung Fu Panda. I haven't seen him. I haven't seen Panda this one yet.
He was putting a little bit of something. I mean, after what we have now, I guess, yeah. But go ahead, Rob.
I'm going Kung Fu Panda 2 just because, like, I mean, but I actually haven't seen Kung Fu Panda 3, but by the end of Kung Fu Panda 2, he's throwing fucking cannonballs around. Like, this dude is nuts. Like, so I gotta see more. I gotta see more from Panda on this show for him to prove to me that he could beat Kung Fu Panda.
Go ahead, Vernon.
I'm on the Kung Fu Panda as well. I think this question should be revisited in a couple episodes, but or our next episode maybe, because we haven't seen him really this panda really do much, so it's hard to say what he could do. And we know Kung Fu Panda gets after it. He's won every battle. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's pretty much undefeated for the most part.
And it's Jack Black, so I mean, that's
Black. That's just
he's gonna get the win off of that alone. Honestly, in my book.
Okay. We can let's revisit it. I actually think you're right. That's a good thing. Let's revisit it. All right. So now let's get to our likes and dislikes and our overall score of these 4 episodes. Let's get it in. Let's go Brennan first.
All right, so I think that this show is doing a very good job of world building. It's doing a good job of character building. I'm honestly enjoying pretty much every aspect of the show. My favorite part thus far easily is the fight between whatever his name is and whatever his name is, Satoru.
Gojo and Jogo.
I'm calling him Satoru. So
whatever his name is.
I'm calling him Satoru because I know he has a couple of different ways of calling his name. I'm calling him Satoru because the other guy's name is Jogo and the names are too similar. So Satoru and Jogo, I thought that fight was incredible. I had actually already seen that fight before, randomly on Instagram. Like, I didn't know what the show was or anything like that. It's just, I was just scrolling through it. I'm like, oh, these dudes are getting after it. I watched the whole fight. And I watched it again. I watched it like 2 or 3 times after that because it's just dope. So I say that's my favorite part. Least favorite part, I don't really know. I'm just going to keep it real. I'm really enjoying the show. Like, I'm just like, this is fun. So I don't really have a least favorite part per se. Maybe the way that they treated the death, like my question was saying, like I didn't really enjoy that. So overall, I'm going to give this a solid 8,200, which is a really good score. But I think it deserves it. Like, I'm all the way in. If it wasn't for us watching this as an anime for this podcast, I would have finished the show already. And I know the final episode actually came out today. Yeah. So I would have finished it today.
Yesterday, right? Because it didn't come out.
Yeah, Friday.
Yeah, it's that. But either way, my point being is that I'm really, really enjoying the show, and good pick so far.
Ice.
Least favorite part. I mean, they're kind of contradictory, but I think my least favorite part is just it's still not hasn't broken away from all of the anime tropes. You can see that the heavy influences, the heavy Naruto influences, especially when Maki came. I was like, God damn, this Naruto, because Maki is Rock Lee. Like Rock Lee doesn't have powers. He doesn't have he can't do jutsus and stuff like that. So he doesn't have ninjutsu. So he has to fight and he has to find a way to compensate. And that's Maki. And then the Chunin exams where they have people come fight from different classes in different places. That's the whatever their test is. That like it's just like it's still doing all of those anime tropes. Like, and that was probably my least favorite part when they said that, oh, we have this exam or against these other schools. It's like, fuck, here we go. Like here we go again. I think that for me was my least favorite. My favorite part though, which I said is kind of contradictory, is I just like the fact that animes never really acknowledge other animes, and they kind of do it like a pseudo way or a subtle way with like either how people dress or like advertisements or something, but they never blatantly say something from it. So when he was just like,
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, when he was just like, I want a spirit gun or a Rasei gun or a Kamehameha. Like, that was great. Like, I got so hyped saying that, watching that, because I was like, oh, this is awesome. This is a, and it was like a love letter. It was a paying homage. And I like when shows do that. And the fact that they did it straightforward, and he was so upset that he couldn't do those things, and they were all, legendary attacks. So it's just like that for me was such a dope moment. Overall for the show, Gojo's the man. Gojo's a fucking man, and he's 8 episodes in. He's no Park Mujin. He shows that he's with the shits while he's with the shits, and his intentions are good. This is another Naruto kind of moment for me because it's a main character that I actually like. Like, very seldom do I like the main character. Because I fucking hate Goku. And I don't like Deku too much either. But like I like Itadori. Like I fuck with him. And overall for the show, it's a fun show. To Brennan's point, if we weren't watching this, I think this is the first time in a long time that I've struggled not to watch a show, like to keep watching it. Like Keenan always do, watching another episode after the shit is over. Like I'm struggling having those issues with this show because it's that good. But it didn't do anything to really send me over. So overall score is a 6,900.
Rob.
I'll just add to that. I'm also really enjoying the show. My least favorite part is kind of when sometimes I feel like when they're kind of going into the nitty gritty on how these things work, like when he was talking about like how the domain spells, like how you overpower them. And like, even when he was trying to explain to Yuji, like differences between cursed energy and cursed techniques. I'm not going to lie. My eyes glazed over a little bit. Like there were some times where I was sort of just like, God damn, this is like a lot of exposition dump and like a lot of explaining. I understand why they have to do that now, but those were the times where I was kind of just like, all right, like, I'm a little bored or a little confused, but I mean those moments are important and to set up how things work, and they don't dwell on them too long. So that's me being a little nitpicky. My favorite part is the characters. I like all the characters, like even the ones I don't like they're characters you kind of love to hate, and I feel like they're doing a good job of setting them up. Like even the other like second years, like. Honestly, I think like my new, like just kind of, I think he's cool is the dude that speaks in rice ball ingredients. But then when he says words out loud, it's just like, you have to like obey his commands. Like that's fucking dope. Like that's super cool. And Panda, just like, it's silly. It's Panda. Like, it's just funny shit. So I really like the characters they brought in. It's a cool world to play in. Like it's a fun show to watch. I'm enjoying it. I'm going to give it a 7,500.
Dislikes. I don't really have as many dislikes from what Ice was saying. I feel like most high school type of animes do that. I don't even think it's necessarily, I think there's been stuff before Naruto that did that. So it's like I can't sit there and say that like that doesn't bother me. When I watch a young or high school anime or whatever, I expect a tournament, some type of fighting tournament. I expect certain things to happen. And when they don't happen, I'm kind of like, that's a shock. And it's normally not as good, to be honest. So there's not too many things that I feel like the pacing is still good. For the things I like a lot of things. The pacing, I like the animation, I like the fight scenes. I'm with Rob. I like all the characters so far. There's not a character that I'm like, get off the screen. Like, even when dude came in and was like, yo, I like big bucks and I cannot lie. I'm like, yo, he came on the screen, but then he got active. You know, he wasn't no soft ass. You know what I'm saying? It's funny. Like I said, I watched the end of all these episodes and I'm cracking up laughing about some of this stuff, about how they even making some of the villains humorous. You know what I'm saying? They're not just these super dark villains. It's like they're dark, but then playing soccer with old boy's head was just fucking. I was not expecting that, so it made me go like, okay, wow, like this is just ridiculous. It's the hype right now for this show. From people told me it's living up to it. People said this show was one of the better animes that came out, and man, it's not falling behind. So for me, overall score, I got to give it for these four, I'm giving it a 78, 7,800. And you know, I forgot what I gave it last week. I might have gave it a 78 or 70. Forgot what I gave it. But
yeah, I think you and I were pretty close in like the high 60s or something.
Yeah. So it's one of the better animes that I think we've watched so far between these span of episodes. From what I've heard, it gets a lot better than this. And if that's the truth, holy shit. They're bringing a lot more characters. They're giving a lot of characters. They're throwing a lot of characters at you. They're doing it right, unlike God of High School. God of High School gave you a lot of characters. You just like, this means nothing to me. I don't give a fuck about this. They've thrown a lot of characters at you, and it's not like I hate any of them. Or I'm not like, who cares about them? I'm kind of like, that's cool. They're doing it right. I don't know how they're doing it right. I can't fully explain it, but they are. You guys want to say funny because
no.
Oh, I thought you were saying.
It's funny too because like their uniforms are very like everybody's dressed very generically outside of Jogo. But it fits their world, kind of like Yu Yu Hakusho. Like it fits. Like it's not like bland. It's not bland because Itadori he just got on a hoodie, really. But it fits the world, and I'm not taken aback by it like I was in God of High School.
I love the hoodie thing just because I rock hoodies. So when you got the protagonist wearing a hoodie, I can now put myself even better into that position of being that character. But yeah, that's just how I feel. I feel like 7,900. Super dope so far. I'm with you. I would have probably finished this already also. So I can just talk about it online. But we're here. So next week, episodes 9 through 12.
Through 12. Yeah. No.
And yeah, man. Let us know what y'all think in the comment section. Give us y'all grades. What y'all think of these last 4 episodes? What y'all thinking so far? Is it gonna live up to the hype? I know some of y'all have already watched it. Let us know it's gonna live up to the hype. Don't spoil it. You know, for the people out there, because they don't want to spoil it, of course. And let me know who's reading the manga too. I want to see how good the manga is with this. Also, go ahead and drop your stuff, guys. Go ahead, Ice.
Rob, what's up with Syracuse, man?
Man, yeah, they're
Did
done.
they beat West Virginia though? Right?
They beat West Virginia. Virginia. Yeah. They had a tough game last night against Houston. They're not in the tournament, but you know, I'm happy with the season. If you'd asked me at the beginning of the tournament where I'd be happy with them getting, I'd be like, Sweet 16 sounds great. I'd have taken that all day.
Picks since it's going to be over before we record again.
I hate you so much, Ice. I mean, I love you, but I hate you, huh? Because I was going to do that. That's what I was about to do.
Oh, I didn't know that. I did that so he can talk shit because you was so hype about Syracuse.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna wait till he's like, say your stuff, Brennan. I was gonna be like, Syracuse lost by 46 to 62 in the tournament. That's what I was gonna say. That was gonna be my Instagram handle for this episode, but whatever.
Well, I got Baylor winning the whole thing. Who y'all got?
I picked Baylor too, actually.
Yeah, I don't care at this point. Who's in? There's a Pac-12 team still in there, right? Oregon.
Oregon State's still in there. A lot of Pac-12 teams. UCLA's still in there.
I got Michigan winning the whole thing.
I got UCLA. I got UCLA winning. Shout out to Keon, because that's his team. I got UCLA winning.
Yeah, I'm rooting for them now.
All right.
I stopped McGowan on everything.
Brennan the best. Syracuse lost. Rob sucks. Rob, how does that feel that your team's out of but my team's still in it?
That's not your team. Your team is Michigan State. Your team is whoever's convenient for you at the time.
More than one team,
No. You can't have Michigan State as your other team, though, or Michigan as your other team. Those are rivals. Those are big time rivals, aren't they?
100%. They're not big time rivals.
It's either go green or go blue.
It's not, actually, because Michigan's biggest rival is Ohio State. So and Michigan State's biggest rival is Penn State. So they're actually
But there's
not
also
top rivals.
in any state team.
There's
always
rivalry between them for sure. There's 100% rivalry between them, but it's not like Michigan Ohio State rivalry. It's not like Michigan State Penn State rivalry. And I don't care because my best friend went to Michigan State, my sister went to Michigan. I didn't go to either school, so I like them both.
I don't concern myself with the opinions of fools, Brennan.
Any man that has multiple
If I have to pick
favorite
my
teams
team,
will cheat on you.
if I have to pick my team is Oakland. That's where I went to school, and they're a D1 school. They're a D1 basketball team.
I mean, I didn't go to the Tar Heels, but let me tell you something, bro. I would never say Duke and UNC are my teams. I would never say that.
No,
But they're direct rivals.
But what I'm saying is, it's still they're interstate. Like that's a big rivalry. So is Michigan and Michigan State.
Yeah,
bro. That's a big rivalry.
Michigan and Michigan State is a huge rivalry.
Yeah, I mean, whatever.
Huge.
Isn't there like
I'm
a trophy? Isn't there a trophy that
who
they
else
have?
Who else is from Michigan? You can speak to me about that.
Chad would never go for the other team.
Is Chaz here?
We know collegiate
I'm just saying,
sports.
no, there isn't a trophy. How about that? No, there isn't a fucking trophy. There's not.
Yes, there is.
I'm sure
There
is
isn't.
a trophy.
Not between Michigan and Michigan State. No, there's not.
There's some type. Maybe not in basketball. I
There's
feel like
not.
in football.
I'm telling you.
Football.
I'm trying to tell you,
there is.
motherfucker. It is a rivalry. I'm telling you, there is a rivalry, but it's nowhere near Michigan, Ohio State. It's nowhere near. It's not even close. Like, not even close.
Okay, you know what, Brendan? That's fine. All right, your new theme song is Chris Brown. These hoes ain't loyal. Rob,
I'm just glad
you
Brennan's
ain't loyal
been
to your team,
exposed.
man.
Man. That shit
I'm
is
just
sick.
glad Brennan's been exposed.
All I have to say is fuck Syracuse.
I know he's mad because he still owes me a 2-shirt bet. You can ask him how that happened.
Fuck Syracuse.
My only regret is I didn't take him up on the double or nothing when they played Michigan State in the tournament and beat them. It's my only
Fuck
regret
you
in
and fuck
life. You can find me RVDanger44 on Instagram.
Keenan Baker on every single thing. Animeshun, SHUN podcast on every single thing. Make sure you hit the Cash App. Show us some love. Hit that comment section. Show us some love. You know we respond back. And we'll see y'all next week. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Animeshun.
And both of the Michigan teams do have a trophy. It's called the Paul Bunyan Trophy.
I knew it. I knew they had a trophy. When you're not a real fan, you don't know shit like that. You're not a real fan, you don't know shit like that. Peace out. We out.
And so anime was solved forever.